In 2014, I started having a lot of trouble with my lower stomach. And when I went to the hospital, they really couldn't find out what it was, but they ended up giving me pain medicine. And at first, I wasn't taking more than one, but the more time I was on it, I started to feel like I needed it. And I would go to doctors, and at first they couldn't find out what was going on. So I went to a specialist, and they decided that my ovaries, that they needed to take my ovaries. And they thought that that would help. Well, the issue was is that it didn't help. And I was still going to doctors, and they were putting me on more pain medicine. And then it got so bad that I went to a pain doctor, and that was when it just started getting worse from there. They had me on oxycodone and oxycontin, and that was, it was a lot. And so I still was going to the to doctors and not really getting a lot of answers until finally I got diagnosed with cystitis. It's, they also call it painful bladder syndrome. And it was, still today I have it, but I've learned how to kind of deal with the pain a little bit more. So after they found out what I had, there's not really a cure for it. So I was still taking pain medicine and noticing I was starting to become more addicted to it. And I was really struggling so much that my family was getting worried. And when my family would try to talk to me, I didn't see at that time that I had a problem. I thought I was okay. But now looking back, I realize I wasn't. And then in 2017, I broke my ankle. That ended up kind of making things worse because I was getting at that point worse when it come to pain medicine. Feeling like I constantly needed it. And my sister, all my family was a strong voice, but my younger sister really was a strong voice. Like, my family was a strong voice, but as strong as they was, my younger sister was more. And she would try to tell me, she knew that I was becoming addictive, even though I think at that time I was still kind of naive. She realized what was going on, and she would cry trying to talk to me. But again, I was still at that point not realizing. And I had to, when I was going to the pain doctor, there was a mess up. Something happened with my insurance, and I had to stop going, which ended up, God was really looking out for me. Because I think if I would have kept going to that pain doctor, it would have got way worse. Because when I stopped going to the pain doctor, I didn't have Oxycontin anymore. And I went through the most horrible withdrawals for a couple of days. It was bad. And I was still, though, at this point, still taking hydrocodone. And so I was still on pain medicine. And my doctor finally said, told me that they didn't think that I should be on pain medicine anymore. So they stopped with the hydrocodone, because this is also around the time where a lot of people were getting addictive, and so doctors were being more cautious at this time. And at this time, my aunt had passed away from cancer. And so my cousin, her daughter, come to stay with us. And she also struggled with drugs, but with her, it was way worse. And she had been on them way longer. And she come to our house, and she was trying to get sober. And having her around at that time, I think, actually helped. Because she would tell me some stories. She was a really good storyteller. But when she went back home, she passed away. And so I was struggling with depression. And to deal with it for a little bit, I started taking nerve pills. But then I had this dream of my cousin coming to me. And she told me, she said that if I wanted to live, I had to get off of everything. So I did. And I believe God gave me that dream to turn my life around. And I tell this story because if you're in addiction and you feel like there's no hope, there is. There's always hope. And you can get better. And I'm not going to tell you that it's an easy road. It's actually a hard road. Because there are times in your head when you think about it, you're going to want to use, and you have to overcome the wanting to use. But you can do it. But that is my story. And I just wanted to kind of share it.